All right, today we're discussing why, we're talking about why narcissists do right by or move in with new supply, why they have kids, why they choose to marry. Why does that seem to, why does it look like that, right? Why did it happen that way, right? After you felt like, well, I was doing good by him. I did all of this stuff with him. What was it that allowed them to feel like that would be a viable option in that situation over yours? And the thing about this, it can cause in the minds of someone, it can make it to where it really messes with your ego, right? So let's go through it and try to get some clarity about it. From what I've noticed, people really struggle with this, the understanding of it. So I want to kind of break it down and give some clarity about what it is that's going on with the narcissist and why they choose to do that. So, in situations, right? Some of you gave your heart, your energy, and you gave years to someone who seemed, charming, caring, all these things at first. But slowly, over a course of time, right, you started seeing a pattern of selfishness in that narcissist where you felt like you were giving way too much. And you notice manipulation, you notice emotional neglect, and all of these things, right? Then, after everything you watch them seemingly transform into, right, and initially being that perfect partner, someone you could build a life with, a home, or even a family, to see that just dissipate, right? To be broken up. It's not just hurtful, it's deeply, very deeply confusing. So this is two things people are dealing with. They're not just dealing with the hurt and the, feeling duped, but also they're confused. It's confusing like shit, right? You go through all of the mind things. Why did they refuse to give you what they so easily give someone else? Is what a lot of you come to that conclusion, right? And to understand this, I say we have to more so dive into the mind and the world of a narcissist, the way that narcissists operate, because this is the biggest thing where people get caught up on when you listen to videos from people in this community on this platform. That is one of the hardest things to explain to people, right? To shed light upon, to give a clarity about. But first, we have to recognize, at least from what I've seen, is that narcissists don't commit in the way that healthy people commit. This is big. And this is one of the things that a lot of people struggle with understanding. A lot of people struggle with understanding just that mere fact right there, is that they don't, a normal person commits for a whole set of different reasons. With a narcissist, their choices are less about love and connection. And on the flip side, they're more about control and self-image. All right, I want you to understand that. It's not about love and connection, which what healthy people look for. With a narcissist, it's about control. It's deeply rooted in control. All right? And self-image a lot of times. What does this situation make them look like? When they're with a source of supply, let's say like you, right? They've already decided what specific role that you're going to play in their life. The moment they decided to quote unquote commit to you, it was because you were to fulfill a role, not a relationship, not anything like that. You were a fill-in to fill in a role. All right. You were likely cast in a world that served their needs in some type of way. You were either a caregiver, a cheerleader, or even a scapegoat. But you were one of these roles. These are usually the common ones that they assign people roles in. Typically, they go for the caregiver types. They do have people that are the cheerleaders. There's some, again, like I said, that are the scapegoats. There's some that are strictly used for pleasure. But nonetheless, each person a narcissist gets with is only to serve a role. Emotional support. You could be strictly used for that. And maybe you give emotional support way better than anyone else, and they're really drawn to that, and they feel at that time they would rather have that over the other stuff. But over time, that role starts to feel limiting for the narcissist. They grow restless. As I said numerous times, they are insatiable. Now the narcissist moves on to something new. And to really drill into y'all head, this isn't because the new person is better or special. It's because the narcissist, or to the narcissist, at least in their mind, the new supply represents a fresh start, a blank canvas. They see an opportunity to rewrite their narrative or rebuild their identity, where they appear more admirable, more capable of commitment, love, and stability to this new person. Right? That's a whole new rush. That's a clean slate, blank canvas. It's more entertaining. It allows them to engage more. Routine with narcissist predictability, they get bored. So think about that. If you encounter people who get uneasy or restless with routine, predictability, stability, you're dealing with an unhealthy person, narcissists or not. And this is why the more healthier the person is, the more likely they're going to screw over them. It's too easy. It's boring. But this is one thing to realize. The more people who are up on the things that they need to be on, where they're stable, they're reliable, they're predictable because they're on top of everything. It's like it's a smooth operation. We're going to be boring to those who are used to jumping in and out of things and moving from this to that to that. Stability, all these things I mentioned equals lifeless. It's lifelessness, right? They don't want that. They don't want that. They want they want all these things that will create drama, stuff like that. So then you go into watching them over in another situation. You're questioning yourself, like, how everything was better here. I made sure that this was in place, this was in place, this was in place. Why would you leave that to go somewhere else? And now it looks better over there. Well, narcissists are masterful performers. They know how to construct an image that feeds their need for validation. So moving with the new supply or having children or even getting married are grand gestures designed to showcase and look like they're growing. It's supposed to look like growth when you see it that way. But make no mistake, all those acts aren't driven by genuine self-improvement. They're superficial markers of progress that allow the narcissist to prove to themselves and others, hey, I'm better now. I was in that situation, but look, when everybody was starting to think that I was the one messing things up again, like, here you go again. No, because when I left, I got better, right? So remember, image is important to narcissists. Sometimes they go on to supply that's not as good, but if it's more based on an image thing and trying to prove something to someone, and it's usually just not you, they're trying to prove it to other people that may not like them, family members, etc. It's an array of people who they're trying to prove this point to. So deliberately, they will seek out someone, throw themselves all over this person, and they will objectively behave as much as possible and show a character that is consistent and not doing all the things that was disruptive, at least with you, with this new supply that has the role of playing this image to uplift their image. They will go in on their best behavior, even doing things that they wouldn't do with you, that you had to it was like pulling teeth to get them to do with you. They're doing it so easily and readily over in the new situation because their image is on the line and they have something to prove. That, hey, I didn't mess that last thing up, even though they did, and you may have caught them or you busted them or the jig was up or whatnot with you. To everyone else, it looks like, oh, there they go again, failing as them. So they have to transmute that and do something and move into a different situation or purposely seek out a new supply with the situation that would put them in a better light to show that, no, look, I upgraded. I did better. I was in a wrong. That was just a bad situation. It wasn't me. Because remember, they don't want to look like the failure. So why didn't they do these things with you? It might sound harsh. I went through it too. Because they didn't need to. That's why. With you, they felt no pressure to maintain the facade anymore. They had already gotten what they needed from you. The love, the support, the emotional investment, financial investment, whatever it may have been, that kept their ego afloat for that time being. Because more than likely, in a lot of cases, the person who they had left to come to you for, and you were the new supply, you were a little bit better than that supply, or you served some sort of different capacity that they needed at that time that the other supply couldn't. Right? And once that dynamic runs its course, they have no incentive to elevate the relationship or the transaction to the next level. There's nothing for what? I've already gotten everything I needed. I'm already getting everything. For what? They reserve those those at least performative milestones. Now they put it away. They take it from you. They put it on the shelf, and they reserve those performative milestones for the new supply. Not because they're in love, but because it helps maintain the narrative that they are desirable, that they are able to commit, that they are able to have something better. in a different person, right? Another critical factor is how the new supply reflects back to the narcissist. In the early stages of the relationship transaction, the narcissist person often idolizes, well, the new person at least, in many cases, because they don't know the narcissist, they idolize the narcissist. This adoration feeds the narcissist's ego so much, and it reinforces their belief that they're worthy of all the good things in life. But over time, this pattern tends to repeat as, the narcissist's true nature emerges. The new supply even often experiences the same disillusionment that you did. This is the cycle that I talk about. And so when we go into why you as the old supply was never enough, it's hurtful, it's painful, but nonetheless, this is the truth. Nothing you could have done or could have done or would have done could have changed the narcissist's behavior. They didn't commit to you not because you weren't good enough. All right? I'm going to repeat that again. They did not, or they didn't commit to you. They didn't commit to you not because you weren't good enough, right? Not because you were a good person to them. Not because you didn't show them love or anything, or because you started to change up on them. And that's not anything to do with it. It's because their motivations, right? Or even their motivations and their desires and stuff of what they needed for themselves has nothing to do with you as well. It doesn't. It doesn't. You ever play the game where, I know a lot of you have seen like Wheel of Fortune, right? You spin the wheel, then it lands on, an amount of numbers of dollars, or it lands on free trip or free prize here, right? Well, think about with a narcissist, they have all these different needs that they need at the time because their emotions are ever fluctuating. They might need emotional support, like I said. They might need more sexual gratification. They might need more money. They might need more praise and admiration. They might need a higher image boost, right? Status boost, status quo. So they spin the wheel. Wherever it lands, let's say your emotional support. They're getting burnt out on that. They spin the wheel, take a chance. Oh, I need new status, or I need new sexual. This is why it can vary from the top types of supply that they get, because whatever is begging, calling them, bothering them internally. If they have a provider, let's say you're the provider, but you're just a regular basic person that provides and you do what you do well and you take care of them, right? But they need more excitement and the limelight, and they need to be looked at in a higher way. Then they go looking next for something to fill that void, that feeling of lack. It's not that you weren't doing anything good. It's not that you failed or anything. You did an excellent job. It has nothing, and this is what I try to get people to understand, it has nothing to do with your performance. What's going on is something that you, neither the narcissist, can control. That impulsive way about them to now, I need to go get status. And they fixate themselves on that until they go get it, until they have it. Because they feel in their minds that's what's going to make them feel whole and complete from the feeling of lacking it. Then they go get someone with the status, and then once that starts to run dry, they may feel like, oh, I'm lacking. I want sex now. I need great sex. I need to be having wild sex and all this. So they leave this other person who was giving them the limelight and everything that they wanted. Now they go seeking a person exclusively for sexual gratification. And this is why the looks and the types of people who they do get with when you see them vary tremendously. It's no consistent. So this person just for sex can look horrible, but they serve the sexual need of that time that the narcissist is craving. So when each one of these appetites or cravings starts to stir up in the narcissist, they have to do something about it. No matter how well the person is performing, the source is applied is performing that's with them, they have to go seek out alternative things that's going to alleviate that void or to scratch that itch, so to speak. Their decisions are based on what serves their ego in that moment. When you understand this, you can release yourself from the trap of comparison, because this is what holds a lot of you in that realm. This is what I work with a lot of people in my consultations with clients and whatnot, is breaking this, getting it really hammered down in their mind for their specific situation, of course, because everybody has a different situation. But this has to be something that you really understand so that you can break the comparison thing, because this is another thing that keeps people ruminating. Stuff that people don't really go in depth like this to give an understanding. And it does take a special skill and a deep understanding of how this narcissistic personality disorder stuff works, which I've put in many years of hard, dedicated work to making sure that I have a deep understanding of how this works and not just copying from someone else talking about it or repeating it. This is because I really do this. So the narcissist's new life isn't the fairy tale it appears to be, right? It's just that the next act in a recurring drama, and one day the curtain will fall on that stage too. That's all it is. It's just the next act in a reoccurring drama where that curtain closes on that act too. And this is major, because this particular the behaviors of narcissists creates the confusion and the messed up mental states in people who are trying to understand this. And they come to watch videos and so forth. And that's good too, because, you get a little bit of insight. But it has to be stuff that actually works to unfix you, undo your mind from the toxic entanglement of being with a narcissist. I always talk about investing in your health, mental health, and well-being, especially if you went through this in that way with a narcissist. This is what it's about. And the thing about it is that when you were in the situation and, you know, going through this with them and thinking that, like, wow, you know, they just did me like that. I didn't mean anything. Did everything I did. And so because we have egos too, our egos tend to look out and reach out to us to say, why aren't they acknowledging this? Didn't that mean anything? And so now for a person that's went through this with them, they could feel like, I'm not doing stuff like that again, because people don't appreciate it. They just end up using, right? Remember this. The new supply isn't special to the narcissist. They're not special. They're just operating in a different role that maybe you weren't willing to do, bend and break for, exhaust yourself for, or your boundaries would not allow that. So let's clap it up one time for your boundaries too, because that gets overlooked as well. Because some of you, your boundaries just wasn't allowing you to keep going with the these expectations, these unrealistic expectations that the narcissist was putting on you, which burns and wears you out. When you were in their life, you fulfilled their needs. You did that in that chapter. But as time went on, they grew tired of that. Your relationship transaction didn't lack value. You just simply stopped serving their ego a full plate. And because they lacked true empathy, they had no hesitation in leaving you for someone new. They're not going to relate and be like, man, this person's done all of this stuff and they did right by me and all this. I can't just do them like that. Remember, it's self-centeredness to the fullest. It's all about them and what they need. The cycle will repeat itself over and over again with the narcissist. People mention insatiable. They mention they can't be fulfilled. I'm giving you the examples of how that looks. I paint the picture for your mind to see. Some people are visual learners. They have to have it painted in their mind to comprehend and get a grasp of it. And then once you do that with those, like, boom, they're gone. They get it now. Right? And so this is another reason why they're perpetual cheaters and so forth. People say, oh, they got married. Well, they got married because marriage is a status thing. Shows the ultimate status, the ultimate, oh, you were so desirable, someone wanted to marry you. And if that, for the purpose of serving that, to prove to people that they are marriage material, they will purposely seek out and look for and throw themselves all over onto a person that is about getting married. Because now this is going to fulfill another role for their status quo. Listen, it's once you understand this, folks, it works so easy. You get to see it so easy how they operate. And it makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. So with that being said, If you found this message helpful, it resonated with you, please consider to like and share, subscribe. And if you need additional help, clarity on your specific situation, don't hesitate to reach out. Shoot me an email. You can contact me that way. It's in the description. Just click in the description links, shoot me an email, and I'll get you information on how to go about doing that. And we'll tackle your situation as well. But other than that, have a good one, folks. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good one.